wives are very unhappy, it's because of misguided respect. Communication is the key to any successful relationship. Fear of calling him out on his actions. Okay, what am I saying?
Life is full of trials, a journey full of experience. With God on your side, all will be alright.
Welcome back again to Hopeful Stories, and you guys know the motto, right? With God on your side, everything will be all right. Okay, so yes, today I'm here back again with another interesting topic under marriage and marrying. Of course, you know Hopeful Stories. We like to make sure that you are full of hope, to make sure that you know that tomorrow is going to be better, and every situation there is always a solution. Repeat after me. Every situation always has a solution. Okay, cool. Right, today I came with my book, and I just want to say thank you to Auntie Dudu. She gifted me this book. It's got my name on, but yeah, my son has been doing the most, guys. Writing on it and writing inside. But yes, shout out to Auntie Dudu. I just want to say thank you so much for giving me this lovely journal, and I always jot in my things in there. So yes, today I want to talk about the reasons why some housewives are very unhappy in their marriages. Yes, reasons why some wives are very unhappy in their marriages. I went on ahead to just jot a few points after talking to a lot of people, and also after realizing that I have got a few things that I relate to right here, which I have personally adjusted, and also some other people have told me that, Hope, listen, these pointers are mostly dominant. Okay, the first reason why, it's because most women fear asking questions. They fear asking their husbands questions about things they are in doubt of, especially things that concern their husbands. They are afraid of voicing out. Okay, what am I saying? You find that you'll be in a position where you can see that your husband is doing something that is uncalled for. Your husband is doing something that is very, very wrong, and he needs to be held accountable. He needs to be called out. He needs to be cautioned. He needs to be told that, listen, this thing that you're doing is wrong. But because certain wives have the fear of calling their husbands out or pointing out what they've done wrong, they end up bottling those things. They end up bottling those emotions. They end up bottling the hurt that this thing is causing them. They end up bottling the things that the husband is busy saying to them, doing to them, that hurts their feelings, because you cannot speak out. You cannot release what you're suffering, what is hurting you. You cannot vent about how you're feeling. Those feelings are bottling in, and you are just like a ticking time bomb. So I've heard a lot of wives saying, I just end up keeping quiet. I prefer not to make noise about it. I prefer not to address the situation. You know what? Keeping quiet is not solving matters. Things need to be addressed. Issues need to be put on the table. Issues need to be ironed out. Issues need to be communicated. Why? Because remember, communication is the key to any successful relationship. Communication is what got you married in the first place. Your husband, before he became your husband, came to you and said, Mommy, I love you. Baby, I love you. And even when you were joined together to become one, you made the vows. The vows are the covenants that's binding you guys to be married. And those vows are verbal. And it's part of communicating. So every relationship starts with a communication, ends with communication. Therefore, if you as a woman, you are afraid to voice out what you're going through, or voicing out or calling out your husband for something that they're doing wrong, there is definitely going to be chaos within you. And that will result with you being a very unhappy woman. I am not saying you need to address issues haphazardly and in a somewhat kind of disrespectful manner. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is learn to speak up, learn to call your husband out, learn to be able to tell him that what you did is wrong. Because you know what? Some people out there, they can see, they might be seeing the certain things that your husband is doing. And not everyone is confident enough to caution them, to say, you are doing this, you are doing that. You as the wife, you are the one who got put in that position to be able to also, help him, to give him a bit of direction here and there, especially where he is falling short and where he is not doing so well. Okay, let's dive into point number 2. So point number two is fear of questioning his whereabouts. Fear of questioning his whereabouts. So I know some women will be saying, is that a problem? Well, some women, some wives find it very difficult to ask their husbands where they are, what they're doing, who they are with, because their husbands are seemingly not acceptable. They are not, they don't succumb to those questions. They assume that if you ask those questions, they are under surveillance. They feel like their freedom is being taken away. So whenever you ask him what he's up to or where he's going, all of a sudden it's like you've entered into this war zone and you want to fight with him. That is not on you, it's on the husband. If your husband is in that position, it means that he does not have the knowledge or the wisdom of how a husband is supposed to communicate with the wife, especially when it comes to the whereabouts. It's not on you, the woman. There's nothing wrong that you've done. So yes, some women are seemingly afraid to just ask their husbands what they're up to, what they're getting into. They are just distant and not involved. What that makes and what that results into, it gives a sense of distance between couples, and it makes the woman seem not involved in what this husband is doing, in what her husband is up to. It makes the woman feel like they're not involved in any of the nitty-gritties. I mean, imagine you are saying you're in a relationship with someone and this person goes up and about to do what they do. You are not even concerned. You don't even care. The person that is in love with you is telling you that, please don't be concerned about what I'm doing. Don't be concerned about where I am. Don't be concerned about what it is that I'm up to. That alone creates a very bad distance between couples, emotionally and physically. So yes, fear of asking your husbands questions about what they're up to and their whereabouts. So if you are this woman who has that kind of fear, you need to understand that this problem can actually be solved, but we'll get into that a bit later on. So point number 3, right? Point number 3 right here, fear of calling him out on his actions. I had to, vocalize and emphasize on this. Fear of calling him out on his actions. Okay, what am I saying? Some wives have husbands who don't want to be told that they're wrong. Yes, it is true, it is happening. Some husbands just don't want to be told they're wrong, especially by their wife. I don't know why, but anyways, that's a totally different topic altogether. So you find that there are wives who can see certain faults, certain wrongs, or things that their husbands are not doing well. It might not be necessarily things concerning the house, the home, or their marriage. It could be something concerning his own social life, his own external activities outside the home, his own, work-related issues. And the wife has identified a loophole and it identified some things that are just seemingly not being done correctly. And because that thing, you can see that your husband is doing something that is not being done correctly, something in you rises up to say you need to defend him, you need to actually help him to become somebody who is doing things in the proper way. Now, if that is blocked, you become so unsettled in your heart, you become so you can see that the way my husband talks to people or addresses people in public, it's not polite. He's rude. That's one example. So it's something that reflects on you as well, especially if he's going to show that characteristic when you are with him. So that gives you discomfort. And then the fact that you don't even have the confidence, or you don't even have the ability to go to him and say to him, Habi, I think you are wrong. Habi, I think you need to change this. That makes it contributes to the unhappiness of a home, because now there is not much peace within. There is not much, serenity in the home. I know a lot of people would say, I'd rather just ignore his actions that are not so good. But yeah, you can ignore those actions that are not so good. But how does it reflect on the family? How does it reflect on you as the wife? That reflection that is not good with you, or that does not sit well with you, it makes everything become so much of a discomfort within you, and you've got so much grumbling that goes on in there. We'll dive into how you can solve that. Okay, point number we're on point number 4. Yes. Not being firm on your principles and how you expect things to be done. Okay, so this is one point that makes women unhappy, the reason behind why certain wives are very unhappy in their marriages. Not being firm on your principles and how you expect things done. Right. Okay. What am I saying? I'm going to give an example. I was watching this other pastor on Facebook the other day. It was a live show. He does marriage counseling and all that. So on this platform, one woman asked a question, and she said, Pastor, how do I deal with a husband who does not stay at home? He always loves going out with his friends. He always loves not being at home. Since we ever got married, I've spoken to him about it. He said he's going to change. 7 months into, he has not even made an effort to change. So the pastor suggested that, you know what, show him that you're serious about your principle and about how this thing is hurting you. Show him that you are serious. Okay, so when he said it, I was just like, oh, yeah, you can show somebody that you're serious. That just can happen anytime. You just overemphasize something and it shows that you're serious. No. The pastor said, include actions into your seriousness. What does that mean? He said, just tease him a little bit. If it means you going back to your home for a day or so and just say, listen, I need this thing corrected because it's going to affect our marriage. It's affecting my peace. Okay. I don't know what people think about that, but for me, I just gave that as an example. So one of the reasons why some women are very unhappy is because they fear calling their husbands out on what they're doing wrong. Okay, some husbands cannot just be told, to be accountable. Some husbands are very, very, very much unreasonable when it comes to certain principles. So if you lack firmness on what you stand for, if you lack firmness on how you expect things to be done, they might seemingly take you for a ride. Okay, what am I saying? Example, if your husband, raises his voice when he's speaking to you or expressing something, then you are very much not comfortable with it. And you always assume that he's shouting and it makes you uncomfortable. You have to stand firm on that until the habit is changed. Those are certain things that you cannot continuously allow to repeat themselves as episodes, because once it is repeated, somebody gets used and is like, I know the weakness of this person. I can always repeat the same mistake. Okay, it's the same thing as, that there's one habit that you don't like in the house. And obviously, because your other partner, really, this is somebody who's coming from a different background. It's somebody who has had a habit for over 20 something years, for over 30 something years, that you yourself cannot just change in a day. So when you tell him about the change, obviously he's gonna not change in a day or two. However, for you to get things done, you also need to stand firm with your principles and make sure that you are not slackening on that principle. Okay, so my sixth point is misguided respect. Misguided respect. So one of the reasons why some wives are very unhappy is because of misguided respect. Okay, what am I saying? There is certain respect that is positioned properly, and another type of respect that is just not somehow. Okay, if let's say your husband cheats on you, of course you need to forgive, you need to do this and this, but you cannot now then go ahead and succumb to you starting to respect what he does. And if he is the one approving of that wrongdoing, then you go on to respect him and his doing. That is very wrong. Okay, I might sound a bit, somehow, but what I'm trying to say is when your husband is seemingly, going to tell you that, listen, in this house, you don't ask me about who I talk to. You don't ask me about who you will find me talking to or giving a ride in my car. Because it's my car, it's me, it's my social media, it's what I do. And then you go ahead and give that kind of a connotation with a little bit of respect to it. It might be misguided respect. That I call misguided respect. Why? Because you are going to respect something that is going to create problems in your own home. You are respecting an action that is going to create serious problems in your own home. It will give room for the devil to do whatever he wants. It's also breeding mistrust within the home and all that. So certain misguided respect is not necessary. You need to look at yourself and say, am I not respecting the bad habit, which will affect us as a family tomorrow? And sometimes, in some moments, you need intervention from external forces where you get your pastor or your counselor to come and intervene with certain things, because now you cannot be forced to respect a decision that is somewhat somehow. I know I've heard of people who, as a couple, you find a husband making absurd requests about, let's say, maybe a threesome or a foursome, and because you are a wife, you have been told to respect him. Despite, it's not something that you can jump into and say, my husband, I'm going to respect the decision that you have made. I'm going to respect your intentions. I'm going to respect your interests. No. That's something that is devilish, something that is not godly, something that is not within the books of marriage, something that will even create problems for you, your family, and your children tomorrow. So you cannot go ahead and respect that. Misguided respect brings a lot of confusion. It takes away a lot of peace within the home and within yourself. So last but not least, behind the unhappiness of certain married women is tolerating the wrong behavior. So like I said, there are certain behaviors that you yourself, you can see that this behavior, you cannot keep on asking, tolerating, neither can you keep on coping with it. It's difficult to cope with certain behaviors that are just uncalled for. So I'm going to give an example. There's this couple that I know, and in their early days of marriage life, when the husband was hungry, you know what he would say? Hey, can you not see that I'm hungry? I need food. He was aggressive. Hey, the child is crying. Can you not see that the child is crying? You need to make sure that he was always aggressive. In him, asking something was always aggressive. He never was polite. He never used to ask, e.g., for example, to say, please, can you? He would take her for granted rather in his speech. But you know what? Because culture also taught us that you do not have to question your husband. You don't have to just speak to him in a way that, why are you talking to me like that? You cannot voice out and tell him that, but the way you're addressing me is not right. She was also, she was born during that era of that kind of cultural respect, which I call as misdirected respect anyways, because you cannot keep on having somebody talk to you like that. They are always aggressive. They're asking for a glass of water. The person doesn't ask nicely, and they somewhat sound rude, and you're always like subjective because you are the wife. So you cannot go ahead and tolerate such behaviors. those behaviors, on the onset of that kind of a behavior, you need to seek intervention immediately, because if you tolerate it from day one, that is going to be a system. One of the things is, with men especially, if you tolerate one thing and then you want to change it tomorrow again, there's going to be an issue. So once you get married and you are in marriage, in the early days, you need to, just not tolerate certain behaviors, stand by your principles and be firm, because it will then affect you later. So yeah, probably I have wives who are listening to me and they're saying, yeah, but Hope, I have these behaviors that are affecting me that I've been tolerating for so many years. What should I do about it? Well, let me tell you, there's still things that you can still do about it, but there is a need for you to invent or come up with the interventions with maximum levels of wisdom, with a lot of wisdom. Because certain habits that you have tolerated, just know that if you have tolerated it for 10 years, it might take you almost the same amount of time to actually work on that behavior, or for your partner to actually change. Or rather, you will even face a lot of resistance, because they are now going to say in their head, yeah, but I've been doing this thing for 10 years. Why are you complaining about it now? So certain behaviors that you're probably not okay with, that your husband is exercising or busy doing, or that your husband does, it's because from the onset, you yourself, you just tolerated. You were okay with it, you're fine with it. Now it's affecting you in the years. So yeah, one of the reasons why some women are unhappy in their marriages is because you've tolerated a very bad behavior for a very, very long time. You've never voiced out that you're not good, you're not happy with it, you don't accept certain standards. You haven't even told yourself that, listen guys, hubby, this is not what we need to be dealing with at this point. Last point is nurturing habits that grow to become problems. This is the reason why some wives are unhappy in their marriages. You have over time nurtured the wrong habits, which have grown to become problems now in your marriage. What am I saying? You as a wife, you've come into your husband's life as a helpmate suitable for him. You are there to help. Now, some husbands out there, some men who have gotten married whilst their minds are minds of teenage boys, but it's a grown-up man who's ready to be a father, but maturity is still that of a teenager. So you've probably gotten married to him, and there's habits that he still does that need nurturing from you as a suitable helpmate, but you have not nurtured those habits. You have actually nurtured the wrong habits, which have today grown to become serious problems. E.g., taking accountability for a wrong act or a wrong action or wrongful doing. That's something that we see immature husbands, constantly repeating in their marriages, and wives are crying about it. Those things, those habits, or those that situation where somebody is supposed to take accountability of their actions. You as the wife, you are there to defend. You are there to defend what he does. You are there to defend all the actions that he does, which can be harmful to your own life and to the life of your family and to your own happiness in the home. What am I saying? Certain reasons why women are unhappy. There are so many reasons. However, do you want to know the solutions to this? Please join me in the next episode as we talk about the solutions of these reasons. You can be happy in your marriage, definitely as a woman, without you feeling somehow. And you can actually bring in the serenity, the peace, and the happiness in your home. You know what they say? Happy wife, happy home. Angry wife, it's a catastrophe, a disaster. Thank you so much for joining. I will see you guys in the next episode as we talk about solutions to these problems. Have a great day. Bye.
Life is full of trials, a journey full of experience with God on your side. All will be